A video on homemade Ribena, which is a Blackcurrant Cordial, which was delicious, but due to the sugar tax and them not really thinking about the customers who enjoy Ribena, they have taken the sugar out of Ribena, and it's just not as nice at all, and if I'm honest, quite disgusting. My personal opinion. So, I have faffed around with cordials in the past, and I thought to myself, oh, what I should really do is just really get hold of some blackcurrants and have a go at making some blackcurrant cordial in the style of Ribena, and then I can enjoy it myself. So, I've got some blackcurrants from my local fruit and veg farm. They were quite expensive and probably not the right kind of season. I'm going to puree them, put them through a sieve, freeze them, and then we're going to extract the juice that way. I don't think cooking them in sugar will kind of extract as much kind of flavour from the blackcurrants. I'm going to keep wanting to call them red currants. I don't know why. I think the best way to do it is to extract the juice from them and then reduce down that juice so it becomes more concentrated, and then we add the sugar, rather than cooking these in sugar and then kind of like sifting out the fruit pulp. I think the way I normally do it is going to be the best way, although sometime in the future I might have a play around with other kind of ways of doing it, but from my faffing around I have discovered the best way to do it. So I'm just going to do it off camera, but they've come a bit stalky, and I'll do a proper recipe this time. So what I'll do is I'll go through all these, pick out all the stalks. We don't want those. Any kind of leaves, we'll pick out that. We'll give them a wash, and then we'll weigh them, and then we'll do it like a proper scientific experiment. Instead of just me winging it, I will weigh the fruit, see how much juice that we get out of the fruit, and then how much to reduce that juice by, and do it all properly, so it's a proper recipe for a change, rather than just a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of winging. So I'll go through these, we'll give them a wash, we'll puree them down, and that's where we'll be next. Right, so they're washed. We've got most of the stalks out of there. There's still a few in there. I was slightly concerned about them maybe tainting the flavour of the blackcurrants. Nearly said blueberries then. But anyway, so puree them down and then pass them through a sieve. Pretty straightforward. Oh, there was 960 grams worth of fruit. Hang on. I'm just doing multiple things at the same time. No, so maybe I won't pass it through a sieve. Yeah. So I think what I normally do is I'm going to freeze this. We'll squeeze the juice out of it, and then the pulp that's left, we'll add a little bit more water to. Puree that down again to extract as much flavour out of that as possible, and then we'll refreeze that. I think we'll do it that way. I think we're going to get more flavour out of it that way. I don't think you need to once we squeeze the juice out. Once we've got to that stage, and I'll do something that I don't think you necessarily have to do. It's just that I don't like wasting any kind of flavour whatsoever. Oh yeah. So this is plastic. You just got to be careful what you bang plastic on, because you don't want to. If it's you don't want to crack it, because plastic, gets a bit weak over time. So I normally bang things on my hand, and then we just get that kind of off. Yeah, so I think I'm going to freeze it like that, and then squeeze the juice out of it once it's defrosted, and then we'll puree down the pulp again with some more water, which will extract some more flavour, certainly some colour, a little bit of flavour, and quite a lot of colour as well. And we'll do it that way, rather than pureeing all the seeds out of it now, so we'll kind of see how we go. I think that's going to be for the best bet. Although I've got some more, so I might do it the other way as well, and then we'll kind of see as a comparison. Maybe that might be another video. We'll kind of have to see. I shouldn't have done that. That's kind of quite. I think there'll be lots of pectin in blackcurrants, but anyway. So freeze that. Next stage will be after it's defrosted and we're straining the juice out of it. So this is kind of interesting. I have frozen and then defrosted the blackcurrants, and it's gone like this, which means that I think there's quite a lot of pectin in blackcurrants, because I've made I've taken hawthorn berries and I've made a hawthorn fruit leather in the past, and there's lots of pectin in hawthorn berries, and they did exactly the same as this. So I think there's a lot of pectin in blackcurrants. So extracting the juice from that is going to take a little bit more thought. So I think we might have to cook it in water to extract as much flavour and liquid out of that as possible. This is interesting. This is interesting. Yeah. I'll have to have a think about that. It's a bit late now, if I'm honest. It's Friday night and it's a bit late, and I don't want to be faffing around with that. So we'll put the lid back on it, and we'll put it back in the fridge, and we'll leave it until tomorrow, and we'll have a think about what we're going to do. I think maybe potentially boiling it up. I don't want to boil it up with sugar, but boiling it up in water to kind of get as much flavour out of the pulp as possible, and then I kind of have to think about the concentration of it as well. This is going to be an interesting one. This is going to be an interesting one. This is going to test me as this. I do love a test. So we'll see how we go. I'll have a think about this, and we'll do something in the next part of the video. It might be quite a long video. I apologise. I'm not going to apologise, because these videos are really it's something I'm interested in and something I find interesting. So for me, it's not going to be too long. It's going to be kind of interesting and informative, but we'll just have to think about how we get the juice out of that. But we'll have a play around tomorrow. So, blackcurrant pulp and what we're going to do with it. So, as you can see, a little bit of the juice wants to kind of come out, wanting to come out there. I don't think putting it in maybe it will. Let's do an experiment. Let's take half of this out, like that. I don't think we're going to get any juice coming out of that. No juice is going to want to drip out of that. But let's just have a play around anyway. So we'll put that in there. Save half of it. Let's add some water, and let's see if we can extract some juice that way. So we're going to pulp it up. I suppose I said I was going to do this proper experiment, didn't I? So I suppose we'll have to do this as a proper experiment. How much water we're going to add? Well, I'll know how much was in there. It'll be fine. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. No, it can't be a proper experiment, because I don't know what I'm doing. So I've got some more berries. So let's add 200 grams of water, and let's puree this up and see what happens. Let's add a bit more water. water. Right, I have decided, I've been thinking while I've been pureeing, and I've decided what I'm going to do. We're going to strain that through a cloth, that one, and this one we're going to re-puree with more water, and then we're going to refreeze it. And I'm going to see if that compensates for the gelling effect. I'm sure it's the pectin in that that's making it do that. I don't know enough to say for definite, but I think it's the pectin that can do that. So let's just imagine that's about half. So if we add that amount of water into there, that's about half the amount of water. So just whisk that off there. Probably need that. Probably should keep it somewhere safe so I don't have to save myself some washing. Right, so I need some. Let's puree that down. Let's puree this down as well. So this is the one we're going to freeze. We'll just refreeze it, and we'll pretend that I added water to the fresh berries and then I froze it, rather than this being already frozen berries. So we'll just pretend that I took whatever weight of the berries were there, and I added the same amount of water and pureed that down, and then I froze it, and then we'll see if that gets the juice out of the berries. A bit more. That's that. So that one's going to go in the freezer overnight and set solid, and then we'll defrost it and we'll see if we can get the juice out of that. So let's get that one out of the way, and then this one we're going to strain it. So I haven't what we got, that and that, and then I want cloth, which I should have got in the cupboard. And let's just see if we, and this will tell us if we actually need to freeze it, or we can just do it this way. It's a stained cloth. I use it for all these type of things. It's not dirty, it's clean, it's just stained over time. So we'll put this in here like this and see if we can extract the juice from the pulp this way without having to freeze it. So as always, with most of the things that I do, this has turned into a faff. I suppose I really should research things before I do them, but what would the fun be in that? Why read about something when you can just do it? Ah yeah, something wants to come through that. But we'll leave that overnight. So we'll leave that one overnight in the fridge. We'll freeze this one, and see if we can get more juice out that way. So, an experiment, as always, and faffing. Oh, there's so much faffing. Right, so this is the one I didn't freeze. This is the one that I froze. Let's have a look. Will we... Oh yeah, we'll definitely get more liquid out of that one. Definitely get more liquid out of that one. That's all the liquid that's collected out of that one. So I think freezing is a lot better. So let's have a gently just put this through a bit of cloth. Oh yeah, loads of... okay, that's the secret. Right, so we know what we're doing now. Right, what I'm going to do is this one, we'll have it draining overnight. The pulp in there, I'm going to freeze it, and we'll collect juice, and then we'll get more liquid out of that when we defrost it, and then we'll take all the pulp and we'll add more water to it, and we'll pure it up again, and we'll freeze it again, and carry on the process until there's not much kind of flavour or colour left in the juice. I'm trying not to just make a mess. You end up with red stains everywhere. So yeah, you can hear more juices coming out of that one. There's about a similar amount of water. Yeah, loads of juices coming out of that. Yeah, so we need to freeze it. So I made the mistake of puring it and then freezing it. So what I really should have done was pured it up with water, then froze it, then defrosted it. So we're at, let's forget that stage, and let's forget me not adding water and freezing it in the first place. So, oh yeah, loads of liquids coming out of there. So that's okay. So that can drain for a couple of hours. This can go and to be frozen. So I'll just kind of scoop that out gingerly, and then there we go. Oh yeah, loads of. Yeah, that happened kind of quite quickly. There we go, eh? We live and learn. I thought it was going to be a bit of a disaster and a bit of a write-off, but there we go. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll squeeze juice out of that. We'll have a taste. I'll get some stuff together. We'll just pause for a second. I'll get some stuff together, and then we'll forget about that one. We'll concentrate on this. So we know that doesn't work. So this is going to be the second part of it. So I don't need to show you me refreezing that and then squeezing the juice out of that, because we know the freezing part works. So, but I'll carry on doing that and I'll extract juice out of that way. But we'll just pretend that this is the way that I've done it. So we've got 700 millilitres of liquid out of that so far. That's fine. Right, so I'll squeeze a bit more, and then we'll puree that down in there with some more liquid, and then we'll freeze that again, and then we might just get a little bit more juice out of that, because there'll be colour and a little bit of flavour left in this type of thing. We'll just taste. Yeah, there's flavour in there. We don't want to waste it. I know what I'm doing, believe it or not. Right, pulp from the first freezing and pressing. So there is flavour still left in this one. I've tasted it. So to get more out of it, we're going to add some water, pure it down again, just to extract out some more juice. I need a little bit more liquid in than that. I'll do this all again, and then I've got like a proper recipe with kind of quantities you get out of the berries and that, because I've got some berries in the freezer, so I can do it again. So this is just like a test video. Running out of space on my phone again. So just enough liquid just to pure it down so we can extract more flavour from the berries. A little bit more water. We're going to reduce this liquid anyway, so it's going to intensify the flavour. So kind of, you can add more liquid, you're just going to have to boil it off, which is not something I want to do. You kind of don't want to boil things too much. If we can add a little bit of water and get out less water and get out just the same amount of flavour, that's a good thing. But you know, we don't want to be boiling down lots and lots and lots of liquid for no necessary reason. But anyway, so that looks about right. So that's going to be the second freezing and second squeezing. I'll freeze it, and then we'll defrost it, and then we're ready to go again. And then we've got, that was from the first. Most of that liquid came from that one, which we're then going to refreeze, and there was a little bit of liquid from the other container that we're not going to talk about. Anyway, so it's looking quite dark and luxurious, and smells kind of quite nice. So we'll see how we go. So it's going to be a long process, but I'll do another video to kind of speed it up the process and what kind of quantities and all that kind of stuff. But this is just a faffing around, believe it or not. So this is the second pressing of the juice, where I have pured it and I've added water for a second time, refrozen it, then defrosted it, and then put it through a muslin cloth. There is, well, a little bit more juice to come out of it. I've given it a squeeze, but it's lost a lot of its colour and flavour, so I don't think we need to do it. Well, I think it's going to be a little bit pointless doing it a third time. We're not going to extract much more flavour out of that, and we'll kind of see by the colour of the liquid. It's got some colour, but not that much. I don't think puring it for a third time and adding more water is going to extract any kind of more flavour or colour out of that pulp. So let me just taste. It tastes all right. There's a little bit of flavour to that, but it's going to have to reduce down quite a bit. But I think it's, from my point of view, I think that's worth doing. I don't think. Let's have a taste of that pulp. What's kind of left? I don't think it's worth doing it again though. No, there's not much flavour left in that. So there's no point doing the process again. So I'm still faffing around with the other bit, which was the control experiment that I just didn't freeze when I put the water in it. So I've still got a freezing and a defrosting part to do to that. So we'll come back when I've got all the juice from both bits of experiments, and that's the next bit of the video where I will be reducing down and we'll be adding some sugar and maybe a bit of citrus as well. I'm thinking lime. I think lime will work really well, but I haven't got any lime, so we can't do that anyway. So this is where we're at. It's a bit of a faffy video. I'll make another video that's like a proper version and a proper recipe, but this is just the working out method. I've probably said that before. I keep repeating myself. I keep waffling. I keep faffing. It's what I do. Right, this is the second pressing juice. Is it the pressing? Pressing? It's not really a pressing, but it's the second juice, and that's the pulp left over. And we have 300 grams worth of pulp left over, which we have pulped twice and added the water twice, and then kind of squeezed all the water out of that. So I can't remember what the amount of berries we started off with, but that's just kind of for my own interest. And then I'm just going to see if we can pass this juice, if it needs passing through, just a coffee paper, just to filter out any kind of sediment, if it's worth doing. That's all I'm really doing. It's got a little bit of something on the top of it, a little bit of film, of scum, so I'm just going to see if it will pass through a coffee paper easy enough that it will just make it super crystal clear. Just out of interest, I'm not saying that you need to do it, I'm just curious to see if it will make a difference. So, and this is the faffing around video. The proper video will come later. Right, reduce the juice time. So that's the juice from the first pressing, and we have, well, the first squeezing, we have 1.4 litres, which is quite a lot, and then this is the juice from the second squeezing, and we have 1.1 litres. So we need to reduce them. Now let's taste them first, eh? I've already tasted this one, but we'll taste it again. It's got a bit of flavour to it. Got a little bit of flavour. I haven't frozen them because I was worried about them going off before I would completely juice them. So that's quite intense, I think. That's quite intense. So we'll reduce, because you could just mix those together now and just drink them. But the objective of making something like Ribena is it's concentrate, and you can add it to fizzy water or kind of do what you want with it. So we have to reduce it to get rid of some of the liquid. Otherwise, it's just. Well, I suppose actually we could just add sugar to that. Add sugar to that, and then that would be watered down Ribena. But we're not going to do that, because we might want to add fizzy water. So we need to reduce, which means boiling them. So, like that, just going to splash. So we'll reduce, we'll concentrate, and then we'll see how much concentrated juice we've got. Ooh, not that one, that's going to burn the chopping board. And then we'll see kind of what we've got left. I did filter the second squeezing, and there obviously has been some kind of sediment that's come out of that, but it went through kind of quite easy. So I think maybe we'll see how this turns out. If it needs, it doesn't look like there's any sediment in it, so we'll see how it is. But we'll reduce and get it kind of concentrated, and then we'll give it another taste, and then we'll see how much sugar we're going to add. I normally do like half the amount of sugar for the liquid. So if there's so if it's like a litre of liquid, I would put in 500 grams of sugar. Not because I don't like things kind of sweet. But if we're making proper Ribena, we probably need to do like a kilo of sugar for a kilo of liquid type of ratio. And then we've got some lemons and some limes as well, because I think it might need a little bit of acidity. So we've got some lemons and limes, just so we might just need the lemon or lime juice just to kind of give it a bit of nice acidity once we add the sugar. I think limes will work better in blackcurrant juice. I don't know why, it's just a feeling I've got. But anyway, so reduce. We'll have to reduce that one a lot more than that one. Maybe we'll take this one down by half. We'll take that one down to a quarter of its original volume, and then we'll kind of we can look and combine them. I'm doing the separate pans. Why am I doing the separate pans? Well, yeah, two pans. It's going to be quicker to reduce those two amounts of liquid rather than just one pan and reducing that right down. And also, I kind of when you're heating things like that, you're tending to cook it as well, which is something I need to think of. I can't remember if I said this before, but I suppose I could have just taken the fruit and cooked the fruit in some water with some sugar, but that would have given the juice that we'd have taken, strained out of it, more of a stewed fruit kind of flavour. Whereas what we're doing here is where there's no kind of fruit pulp to kind of stew. We're just reducing liquid, flavoured liquid, more than anything. So this is just me basically talking when I should be doing something else. And anyway, this is what we're doing. Right, we have reduced the juice. So that's the second squeezing, and it's, maybe I do want to reduce it a little bit more than that, but it's quite pungent. No, not pungent, but lip puckering is that. I don't want to, it's nice colour, it's nice and clear, so I don't want to reduce that more than that, because I think it'll start to burn in the pan. Let's have a see how much we've got. How much we've got before we start. I've forgotten what it was already. So that's been reduced down to about 120 millilitres. And then in the first squeezing, which is this one, we've reduced it down to 350 millilitres. So I think it's, no, they're not that much difference. Let's have a look. So that one looks like that, and that one looks like that. So not that much difference. Okay, so we'll add them together. We'll give it a taste. So what we've got about 500 millilitres. Let's give it a taste. That's really pungent, is that? We might have to go with a lot more sugar just to kind of compensate for it, but we'll go half the amount of sugar first. So pan back on, juice in. That's a lovely colour, is that? Look at that. That's going to stain your shirt if you get it on you. Now 250 grams, which should be about right. Always remember, we can add a little bit more. Very difficult to kind of take things like sugar and salt away from things. So I mean, this might be the the blackcurrants being so tart might be the reason why blackcurrant cordials have a lot of sugar in them and are kind of quite thick. It's a nice colour, is that? Look at that. So we just want to melt the sugar, and then we'll have an idea of what it's like. Let's give it a taste now. Get an idea if we need to add some more sugar. Yeah, that's definitely going to need more sugar. That's certainly going to need another 250 grams. Way too much. So that is a syrup. When you're making a syrup, it normally is equal quantities of liquid and sugar. So that is a proper syrup that we've made. Whereas I don't tend to like, if I'm making the other cordials that I've made, I don't like them too sweet. I think you lose the fruitiness if you make them too sweet. I mean, essentially lots of cordials, just, in my opinion, are just sweet coloured syrups, you know, rather than something that's particularly fruity or refreshing. Doesn't really taste like Ribena. It's still really kind of quite tart. I don't know. It's not going to taste like Ribena. I don't know why Ribena tastes like Ribena. Maybe I should have bought some and had a look at the ingredients. But that would mean preparation. Whereas I just like to wing it and faff around. That's another taste. I mean, it's only a faff around. I say that when I'm knowing that I'm going to slightly fail with something. It's a coping mechanism. I'm only faffing around. It's not that I'm doing this seriously. So I reckon a couple of lines in there. Maybe one line. But we'll kind of see. I don't want to boil it because it's got a bit of scum on the top of it now. I don't want to boil that scum back into it. But if we make it again with the other blackcurrants that I've got, then we can filter it through filter paper. Let's see what kind of difference that makes. It'll get rid of any kind of scum that might be in there. Any kind of like sedative. It might be done to the sugar, but we've got that on top. Let's go another line. It's got a nice fruitiness to it. And then we might put some more sugar in. And I suppose when I've made cordials in the past, I've used different fruits, and the fruits have been ripe. I don't think these blackcurrants were particularly nice tasting in the first place. Like when I made some blackberry cordial, it was blackberries were very nice, and when I made the cherry cordial, the cherries were very nice and ripe. So that kind of made that type of thing makes a huge amount of difference. So, paste again. Yeah, let's put some more sugar in. Let's put in another 250 grams. It's going to be a really heavy syrup though. That's what I'm slightly concerned about. Maybe 100 grams. I quite like it when things fail, because it means I get to have another go and think about things and attack something in a different way. Okay, that's better. Another 100 grams. I mean, I might have reduced juice down too much. That might be a contributing factor. Let's go and get a bottle. That might be big enough. It could be a litre in that bottle, I think. So I don't know how much we've made. All the sugar melted. Nearly. Things taste differently when they're cooler. Well, hot things taste differently to cold things, and then frozen things taste different again. So when you're making things like sorbet and ice creams, you actually kind of want things to be a little bit too powerful. Or is it the way around? Or does it intensify? I'm sure the freezing process intensifies flavour. So you kind of want to make things, if you're making like a vanilla ice cream, you want it to be a little bit too vanilla-y. So then when it freezes, I don't know what I'm talking about. I've forgotten which way around it works. Please ignore what I've just said. So, but this will taste different when it's cooled. So that's certainly boiled. So the sugar's certainly mixed in. And I said it before, this video is purely for myself. And if we can work out how to do it, then there'll be another video, like a more concise video. So what does that make? That makes about 900 millilitres. So let's pour it into this clean bottle, and then we can see what it's going to be. Beautiful colour. Look at that. There's going to be too much for this bowl. I think it might just be the bubbles that are causing that scum on top. Let's not call it scum. So yeah, it's too much for that bowl. That's fine, but we'll see how that turns out tomorrow. But that is a lovely colour. That's a lovely colour, is that? Put some of that in something else. So this is the one we'll test tomorrow. We'll go out and buy some. Maybe we'll buy some sparkling water. We probably won't actually. But anyway, we'll give it a taste test when it's cooled tomorrow. So it's cooled. It's a bit thick. it's a bit thick. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's extremely thick. I've got some in this measure, so you'll be able to see when I pour it out how thick it is. So it's not going to want to mix particularly easily. That's down to the amount of sugar that I put in it. So I've already had a think about what I'm going to do about that. I'll put this. We'll put some of this in as well. So you'll see when I pour it how thick it is, which is too thick for a syrup. That's not going to want to mix particularly easily. Tastes nice though. So I bought some sparkling water. What we'll do is we'll pour a little bit in, a little bit of the water in, and we'll give it a mix, and then we'll pour some more water in. So it doesn't want to mix, as you can see there. Cordial's still at the bottom, so I'm not even sure it's a proper cordial. But we'll give that a mix like that to loosen that. It's not gonna fully mix into it either. I already know what the problem is, and I already know how to fix it. So you can't be doing that. You can't be doing this every time. You want some cordial, but we can add some more water, and then we can give it a taste. I think it's going to be delicious. I'm not sure if it's going to taste like Ribena, but we're only faffing about at the moment, so we'll see. That's really nice, is that? I don't know. Maybe making Ribena, not I'm burping, is probably a little bit too complicated, but making a blackcurrant cordial, that's very nice. And I know what I'm going to do. I've got some more blackcurrants in the freezer, so I'm going to have another go. When I've kind of, that's quite a lot of cordial to go through. I don't want to make some more just yet, because I'll use that cordial first, and then we'll make some more. And I'll have a think about what I'm going to do with it all. But I think that's it's a cracking colour, and it tastes delicious. It's lovely. It is delicious. It's certainly nicer than any blackcurrant cordial I've ever had. It's not perfect because it's got some floaty bits of lime in it, which is not what you want. But I think I probably just got fed up of faffing around by the time the end came. So I'll have another go at making it. And I've got an idea about what I need to do. And if I can't make a Ribena, I'll make an extremely delicious redcurrant cordial. Not redcurrant, blackcurrant. Blackcurrant cordial. I will make a delicious blackcurrant cordial. I will edit that out. I can't be bothered. But there we go. Kind of a success. Kind of a success. I'm 85% happy with it. We can get it up to 99% happy.